Okay, now, so wait. So we complete our EIGRP protocol discussion. Now we can focus on route filtering concept today.
Yeah.
These are the options. Route filtering. We are controlling routing updates. And for route filtering, these options we can use like passive interface, distribution list, IP prefix list, route map, and PBR, policy-based routing. In Cisco device, you can say PBR, policy-based routing. In Fortinet firewall, you can say policy route. In Palo Alto firewall, you can say PBF, policy-based forwarding. And in Cisco router scenario, we have same concept. It's called PBR, policy-based routing. Let's discuss today passive interface and distribution list option. These two route filtering method we can use. So let's create a design first. Okay, wait. Let's create a design. And into this design, I'm using RIP protocol for basic connectivity. So we are trying to implement two topics here. The first one is called passive interface. It's a common concept in any L3 device. Then distribution list. Distribution list concept. One dot one dot one dot one slash 32 192 168 10 dot one. I'm creating some loopback interface on R2 and on R3 3.3.3.3 192 168 30.1 slash 24. Let's configure IP address first. Let's start our configuration first. And I'm trying to use a RIP protocol for routing updates. So interface fast Ethernet 0/0 10.1.12.1 mask. No shut down. Interface loopback I'm creating 1.1.1.1 mask. And one more loopback I'm creating interface loopback 1 192 168 10.1 mask. Now show IP interface brief. Let's try to advise these devices, these networks in RIP protocol 10.1.12.0 1.1.1.1 192 168 10.0. No auto summary. Let's move on R2. Fast Ethernet 0/0 10.1.12.2 mask. No shutdown. Now interface fast Ethernet 0/1. IP address 10.1.23.1 mask. No shutdown. Show IP. Show IP interface brief. Let's try to advertise our network in RIP protocol, router RIP version 2, 10.1.12.0, and one more network, 23.0. No, those some. Let's move on R3,
No mask.
0/1, 10.1.23.1, 23.2. No shutdown. Now interface loopback 0, 3.3.3.3, mask. Now interface loopback 1, 192, 168.30.1, mask. Show IP interface brief. Let's try to advertise these networks in RIP protocol. RIP version 2, 10.1.23.0, 3.3.3, network 192, 168.30.0, no auto summary. Do you see any problem in basic configuration?
No,
Okay, now let's try to verify our routing
hello?
table information. Into this
Hello?
design,
Hello?
I'm using RIP protocol. I'm using RIP protocol. Let's go to R2, show, let's go to R2, show IP route. Then yes, R2 is receiving route information from R1 router and from R3 router. Let's verify on R3 routing table. So yes, you are receiving some route information from R1, right?
Mm.
Now let's talk about first route filtering method. So first route filtering method is passive interface. Okay, why route filtering is required? Why we need route filtering methods? So you might need to control exactly which route are advertised or redistributed or which path are chosen. Advertise
Mm.
only specific route to the neighbor for security reason. For example, you don't want to advertise all the routes to the neighbor router. You want to advertise only
Mm.
specific route information. You can redistribute only
Mm.
specific route only. Okay, prevent routing loops, path manipulation. I'm looking for. I want to change metric or metric type for a specific route. I want to change administrative distance for a specific route. And yes, in BGP, we need route filtering method. Let's start our first discussion. First option is called what? Passive interface. What is passive interface? Passive interface is a command. It's a command. It's a
Okay.
command you can use in RIP protocol, ARGRP, and OSP. A passive interface is a command is used in all routing protocol to disable sending updates out from on a specific interface. On a specific interface. For example, you have a router and multiple interfaces are connected with this router and you don't want to send update via this particular interface, then yes, you can go with passive interface. Passive interface. Passive interface command behavior is different. Behavior is different in each routing protocol. Okay, for example, into this design, we are using RIP protocol. Into this design, we have RIP protocol. Let's go to R3. Let's go to R3. And I want to use, for example, I want to use this 0/1 interface as a passive interface. In case, let's verify router RIP. You can go in protocol and command. You can use what? Passive interface is a command. You can say passive interface is a command. And which interface I want
Okay.
to use as a passive interface? Interface fast Ethernet 0/1. Done. This interface I want to use as a passive interface in RIP protocol. If this interface is a passive interface, then yes, you can check now your routing table. We are using RIP protocol, so RIP will take time to refresh your routing table. That's why I'm using this command to refresh my routing table manually. Clear IP route asterisk. This command you can use in RIP scenario whenever you want to refresh your routing table. Clear IP route. So now let's go to R2 and I'm using same clear IP route asterisk to refresh my routing table. So now in case if I'm trying to verify my route information this time, yes, I'm receiving route information from R1, right? You can see.
Yes. Yes.
But in case if you are trying to verify routing information on R2 router, I'm trying to verify my routing updates
Mm.
on R2 router. So you can see now you are not receiving any route information from R3. See?
Ah.
So if you are using passive interface command in RIP protocol, then this interface will receive will receive routing update, no problem. But it disable
We not send.
sending update. It will disable what? Sending
The
update.
sending out.
Yes,
Okay.
this is the behavior.
So.
Okay, you can verify now.
Mm.
R2 is not receiving any route information from R3, but if you go and check on R3 router, R3, you can see you are receiving route information from R. Now, in case if I don't want to use passive interface, let's go to protocol. And I'm using command no passive interface fast Ethernet 0/1. No passive
Mm.
interface. Now I'm trying to refresh my routing table, clear IP route command. Let's go to R2 and clear IP route command, clear IP route. So now you can see, you can check show IP route. Yes, you are receiving now route information from R3. We are not using any passive interface concept, right? So that's why we are
Yeah.
receiving. We are receiving all the routes. So passive interface is a command. Okay, behavior is different in each routing protocol. For example, if you are using passive interface concept in RIP version 2, disable sending multicast updates via a specific interface. It's allow listening to incoming updates from other RIP speaking neighbors. Now, in case if you are using passive interface command in EIGRP, in OSPF, then wait, let's try to implement. Let me disable RIP protocol first, okay? Wait, give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
No router RIP router OSPF process ID 10.1.12.0. Okay, let's use EIGRP. Not using OSPF. You can use anyone, no problem. I'm using EIGRP. EIGRP 10.1.12.0 wildcard mask. No auto summary. Let's move on R2. Router EIGRP 10. Auto summary. Let's go to R3 router EIGRP 10. 10.1.23.0 wildcard mask. And yes, we have to do back interface. Now, so we can verify our route information. Yes, R2 is receiving route information from R1, from R3. If you go and check on R3 router, show IP route, yes, you are receiving route information from R2, from R1. Yes, you can see. Clear my point?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
in case if I'm looking for passive interface concept, you can go in protocol. You can go in protocol and you can use the command passive interface. Passive interface. And yes, fast Ethernet 0/1 interface I want to use as a passive interface. I have multiple interface
Okay.
on R3, but I want to use this interface as a passive interface. So if you press enter, if you remember RIP concept, if you remember RIP concept in RIP, it will disable sending update via on specific interface, but it will allow incoming traffic. But if you
Mm.
use passive interface command in EIGRP protocol, in OSPF protocol, then behavior is different. Behavior is
Oh.
different. Behavior is different. Yes. In EIGRP, don't send any hello message on passive interface.
Mm.
Router ignores any EIGRP message. EIGRP message on the interface. No neighborship.
Yes.
EIGRP neighborship.
Okay.
EIGRP still advertise about the connected subnet if matched with the EIGRP network. So now you can see this R3 is not receiving any route information from R, and R2 is also not receiving any route information from R3. So neighbor
Mm.
relationship should be down. Clear now this point?
Yes. Yeah.
This is what passive interface concept in RIP, EIGRP, and OSPF. Yes, we have same condition in OSPF, just like a
Yes.
EIGRP,
Yeah. Mm.
just like a EIGRP. This is first route filtering method. Clear this point?
Yes.
Now, in case if you have multiple interface, for example, with R3 router, you have multiple interfaces, and you want to use all the interfaces as a passive interface. Let's remove this passive interface command. I want to use all interface. I have 8 interface, for example. I want to use all interface 0/0, 0/1, 0/2, 0/3, 0/4. I want to use all the interfaces as a passive interface, Then, then I can use a single command, passive interface default. With this
Default.
command, I can I can use all the interfaces as a passive interface. Clear my point?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now see, if you check, yes, R3 is not receiving any route information from R2. Yes, R3 is not receiving any route information from R2 because now all the interfaces are passive interface. And yes, into this design, we have single interface 0/1. But all the interfaces are passive interface. Yes, with this command, you can use passive interface default command. You can use all the interfaces as a passive interface in a single command. Now, in case if you don't want to use because with this command you are trying to use all the interfaces as a passive interface. But in case if I don't want to use this interface, I don't want to use this particular interface as a passive interface, but the rest interfaces I want to use as a passive. Only this interface
Mm.
I don't want to use as a passive interface. What I can do, I
Mm.
can use this command first. With this command, I'm trying to use all the interfaces as a passive interface. But now, in case if I don't want to use 0/1 as a passive interface, then you can use command no passive interface fast Ethernet 0/.
Okay.
With this command,
Okay.
you are trying to remove passive interface option for 0/1 interface. Clear now?
Okay.
And rest interfaces are passive interface, but only 0/1 is not a passive interface, is not part of passive interface. Clear now?
Yes. Clear.
Okay, this is our first route filtering method. Now let's talk about next option. Next option is what? Next option is distribution list. Let's create a
Mm.
design. Wait. Let's create a design for distribution list. Wait. I'm trying to power off all the devices. We can create some loop back here. 3 dot 3 dot 0 dot 1, 3 dot 3 dot 1 dot 1, 3 dot 3 dot 2 dot 1, 3 dot 3 dot 3 dot 1 slash 24 I'm using, and one more loop back 192.168 30 dot 1 slash 24. Let's try to configure IP address. Can we take a break for 5 minutes? I'm coming. You will see.
Okay.
Okay, 5 minutes. We will continue at
Mm.
11:15. Please turn off your mic. Please turn off your.
Okay.
Hello, Juvency. Can you hear me, dear? Juvency, can you hear me, dear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now let's complete this design. Okay. I'm trying to use EIGRP protocol here for routing updates. Interface loopback 0, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1. Mask. OIP interface brief. Router EIGRP 10,
Mhm.
10 dot, 1 dot, 12 dot, 0. Wildcard mask. 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1. Wildcard mask. 10.0, no auto summary. Let's go to our two router. R3. Let's create some loopback interface here. Wait. interface loopback 0. Back 1, loopback 2, loopback 3, loopback 4, 3.3.1.1, 2.1, 3.1, 192, 168, 30.1. Let's copy this configuration and we can paste on here. Show IP interface brief. Let's advertise our
Mm.
network. 3.3.0.0 wildcard mask. Network 192.168.30.0 wildcard mask. No auto. You will see any problem in basic configuration here?
No, no, it's okay.
Now let's talk about distribution list concept. So what is the requirement?
Distribution
What is the
is.
requirement of distribution list? What is the scenario? So for example, I want to see if you check your routing table right now on R2. So yes, you are receiving all the routes information. You are receiving all the route information from R3, all the loopback information you are receiving, and
Mm.
192.168.30.084, right? You will see.
Yes.
Now, in case, as a R3 administrator, in case if I don't want to send 3.3.0.0 and 3.3.1.1, or in case if I want to send only these two network information, 3.3.0.1, 3.3.1 network, I want to send only these two routing update to R2 router,
Mm.
and rest I don't want to share. Is it possible? Can I go with passive interface concept? Can I achieve this task with passive interface?
Yeah, but if you
Clear
do
the
it,
concept. Clear the concept. What is the requirement? Let me tell you one more time.
okay.
What is distribution list? In distribution list, we can control routing update either coming to your router or leaving from your router. Leaving from your router. I want to wait. Let's go with the design. I don't want to allow, or in case I want to allow only these two routes, these two networks I want to allow in routing update. Rest, I don't want to send. I have some requirement. I don't want to send. We cannot achieve this task with passive interface, because if you are using this interface as a passive interface, then complete neighbor relationship goes down. Remember our passive interface discussion?
Yeah.
Complete neighbor relationship goes down, right? You will see.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
If
so
you
here,
set default.
yes. So here we can go with distribution list concept, and distribution list concept you can use either you can configure on R3 router, or you can configure on R2 router. Anywhere you can configure.
Okay.
You can also check your
Okay.
routing update. Wait. You can also check your routing update on R1. Yes, on R1 receiving all the route information from R3 router. So now
Mm.
my point is you can configure distribution list on R3, or you can configure on R2.
Mm.
If you are configuring on R3, it means these updates leaving from your network. Or if you are
Mm.
configuring distribution list on R2, it means it is a coming route. This is for
Oh.
what? Coming. So distribution list you can configure coming to your router or leaving from a router your routing updates. So for
Okay.
example, I'm trying to configure on R3. For routing updates, ACL can help to match your network. If you remember ACL concept, access control list in CCNA training, ACL
Mm.
concept we are using to filter our network. ACL concept we are using to permit and deny our traffic, right?
Yeah.
ACL we can also use to match our network in case if you want to match your traffic, if you want to match your network, you need to go with access list concept. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to go with access list. So I'm creating as an access list number 10. It means I'm trying to configure standard access list. So access list 10
Okay.
permit. Command is what? Permit. I want to allow. I want to send traffic. Permit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is source? So source is 3.3.0.0 wildcard mask. I have one more network 3.3.1.0. So I have two updates, two routes into this ACL entry. Clear my point?
Yeah.
Two network entry. Now let's go to routing protocol in AIGRP, and there is a command. There is a command in protocol. Command is what? Distribution list.
Distribution. Listen.
Distribution list. Question mark. You can define your number we are using 10, question mark, in or out. So traffic is leaving from R3, so you can use out command.
Out.
If you are configuring this distribution list on R2, so for R2 this is what? In direction. This is what?
Yeah.
In direction. So now
In direction.
let's go with the out command. You can press enter. If you press enter, wait. With out command, you need to specify your interface. If you press enter, it will apply on all the interfaces, but I want to apply on
Oh,
specific interface. So fast Ethernet 0/1.
okay.
Now you can go and check on, R2. If I'm trying to verify my routing table information this time, you can see this R2 is only receiving what? 3.3.0.0 network and 3.3.1.
Okay.
Rest
Okay.
network is not traveling right now. Clear this point?
Yes.
You can also verify on R1. R1 is only receiving 3.3.0 network, 3.3.1 network. Now, if I'm not using any distribution list, in case I don't have any distribution list. So you can see now, you can verify, you can go through R2. You can verify now you are receiving all the routes. See?
Mm. Yeah.
So I hope these two options, passive interface and distribution list concept is clear for you. You can see.
Yeah. Yes. It's clear.
Let's
But
continue this. Yes.
I would like to do the coming. This one we did the living.
Yes. So it's simple task. You can configure this access list on R2 router, and on R2 router, you can go in protocol and here you can use in. You can try, no problem.
Okay. Okay.
You will
This
see
I
clear.
will try. I will try this one. Okay. Very clear.
Let's continue this topic. It's not finished route filtering method. Okay, it's required minimum or 2 or 3 session. Let's continue our session on Monday. Okay, Juvency.
Um, okay. Thank you.
Bye. Take care, dear.
Bye.
Bye.
But I didn't receive the video of last session.
Last session. No problem. Both
Session.
recordings. No problem. Both recordings I'm sharing in 30 minutes. Last session and today's
Okay.
session video. Juvency. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Bye, dear. Take care.
Bye.